My name's Stephanie. I'm in the same club as Jennifer. Woo, go off. I'm actually calling in from Mountain View right now. So I grew up in New York, but now I live in California. Hobbies wise, I started Taekwondo this semester in college. It's a lot of fun. It's so much fun. Um, and my like how I got into computer science is a little weird. Both of my parents are computer scientists, so it's something I've been exposed to. I'd say like starting around your ages, so you guys are getting a head start. But I didn't really code up until middle school or high school, so it's really impressive to see you guys already using Scratch and everything. But I did play a lot of Minecraft, and I spotted some people wearing Minecraft shirts right now. And honestly, I think video games actually is what ended up getting me in computer science because I was just having so much fun. Um, and then you can like mod your own packs in Minecraft. And I thought that blew my mind when I was in elementary school and in middle school. So I think that's kind of how I got into CS. This summer, I'll be interning at AMD, doing machine learning things with the people that make their graphics cards. So it's very, very cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys for the introduction. And I know a lot of you do love Minecraft. We do have a Minecraft class we did over the summer, and that was a big success. For all of you guys who do love it, hopefully it'll come back soon and you guys can join that class as well. Okay, next question. What subjects were you interested in elementary, middle school, and high school?
So I enjoyed like a lot of my classes, but I think my favorite class was like math. But that's also because I got really lucky. I had the really fun math teachers, and I think like how you like math is very much how you like your math teacher. So even if you're not that into math right now, like give it some time. Maybe you'll be into it later. But I like math, and I really actually also like art. That was my second favorite class. Um, and people don't realize it, but if you're doing engineering or computer science, you need to be artistic, you know? You need to have imagination and think your way around certain problems. So I think math and art were my two biggest classes. Yeah.
I think for me, I was very much like a bio kid growing up, so I really like science. Most schools for like elementary and middle school just taught life science, so I was like, all right, I like science, so I like dissecting stuff and like going into the lab. Um, and then I also really like history, which is like not related to anything I do right now. But yeah, I think I liked. I didn't really like math too much because, like Steph said, it depends on your teacher, and I did not like my teachers. So I grew up like really disliking math, but I liked science more, maybe because of my teachers. So yeah, science and history probably.
Awesome. When did you become interested in computer science?
Yeah, so I got very lucky. Both of my parents are in CS, and they both worked for IBM, and they did science Saturdays, which it wasn't necessarily computer science per se, but they did have a few small coding exercises, which was my first introduction to them. Other than that, when I actually started like really coding was eighth grade, seventh grade, like going into high school. That's when I got involved with robotics. I did FTC, so the first tech challenge robotics competitions. There's FTC, FLL, and junior FLL. So there's definitely something for your age, no matter where you are. And I think that's a lot of fun. Because you get to build your robots and then you get to code it. So I didn't do FRC. No, I did only FTC, but I had friends that did FRC. And fun fact, my team made it to the World Championship in 2017. So we got to watch the finale for FRC, and it's really cool. So yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
I think I started a lot later than Steph. I think I started in like senior year of high school when I took my first like programming class at school, which might be kind of odd because I was like born and raised in this area, which is super tech heavy, but I was like not very interested. And then my parents don't really work in CS. So they were like, well, you can just do whatever you want and then figure out what you want to do later. So yeah, I think I got more interested in it in high school. kind of because I didn't really have any classes to take anymore at my school, and I was like, oh, I'll give this a shot. So ended up really liking it when I took it because like we had this cool project where we had to make a game from scratch, and it was very like free for all, kind of up to you, and then you can do whatever you want with it. So it was pretty fun to like take that class, and then now I'm here, I guess.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. And before we move on to the other questions, we have a couple coming in the chat already. So one's from Dylan. What coding platform do you enjoy the best?
When you mean platform, do you mean like software or do you mean language? Because like for platform, like the software I use is usually what the class tells me to use. Atom is pretty good. There's Idle. But language, I personally like Java the most, just because that was kind of the first one I worked with. So that's the one I'm really comfortable in. But Java and Python are kind of both on the same level for me. I did a little bit of CPP and cybersecurity in C++, and it was all right. I mean, I feel like the hardest part about coding isn't knowing the syntax, but like kind of thinking of how to code. And I think once you know that, kind of all of the coding languages, it's just a matter of knowing what to like Google, like W3 Schools, Geeks for Geeks, Stack Overflow. They're all your friends. But I'd say I still lean towards Java.
Yeah, I think I would agree. Probably also because I like the first language I touched was Java. So I prefer Java, and because I feel like Java has more flexibility with what you want to do. But I do want to vouch for Python because I feel like Python is also very flexible, and it's relatively easier to learn than Java because Java has so many like specific syntax things. And then also, this is like old school, but I want to shout out like HTML, CSS and stuff because those are like website based languages that you can like manually see like what happens on the screen show up. But yeah, I like stuff. I think I would lean towards Java. I like interview in Java and I do everything in Java if I can.
Yeah, okay, awesome. And then I think William asked a question about what inspired you. William, can you be more specific with your question? What specifically are you asking? William?
I think he meant what inspired them to do scratch.
I think his question is what inspired them to be a computer engineer and do coding.
Yeah, so I think like with that question, it puts a lot of weight behind the decision to like study something, you know, like, oh, it feels like college, or even like what you do after school. Like these are such big decisions, but they're really not. I went into computer science because I enjoyed it, because it was a lot of fun. And I thought that this is something that I want to learn more about, and that in 4 years, I could still see myself being interested in this. I don't know. I guess like as a kid, I think the easiest thing that gets you hooked is like video games. Um, if anybody here knows the Professor Layton Nintendo games, I will be extremely amused and very shocked. But I really love those games, and they're puzzle games. And like CS is just a bunch of little puzzles that you have to solve. And they can be very frustrating at times, but they can also be fun. So I chose computer science because I enjoyed it. And I thought this could be something that I'm good at. So.
I think I chose computer science. Well, I grew up like watching YouTube. I didn't really grow up playing video games, but I watched a lot of YouTube. So I was very interested in like how the internet works. So not specifically like how a computer works, but just how computers talk to each other. So I was like, yeah, that's kind of computer science. Okay, I'll just go for it. So mainly because of that. And then what ultimately pushed me into it was like I said before, like just taking that one class in college or one class in senior year of high school was like, oh, it's like a bunch of little puzzles that you do. Every assignment is kind of fun because like it's just another puzzle to solve. It's not like busy work. So yeah, I think that's what inspired me or like pushed me more into it.
Awesome. Okay. I think we'll move on to the next question. What did you do to nurture your interest in computer science inside and outside of school?
Yeah, so like Jennifer, I did take, it was like computer topics A or something. I was very lucky that my high school offered that class. So that was kind of the only thing I did in school for CS. Everything else happened outside of school. I mentioned like getting involved in robotics was really fun. Somebody has to code the robot. So I thought that was cool. Other than that, there would always be like small events in my area. They'd have like, oh, a coding night where you can get involved. It's kind of what you guys do, but on like a smaller level. So like having, I guess this club or organization already is really cool. Other than that, it was like working on small projects. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't achieve anything like grand, but I did make a character move around in a world one time in Unity, and I felt really, really cool after it. Other than that, I would just make a little machine and it talked to me. It was very generic. It was essentially an electronic 8-ball, but it made me feel very happy. So those were the things I kind of did outside of school. I participated in some summer programs. I did Girls Who Code over the summer one year in high school. I took college classes over the summer. Like this is far ahead of you guys. But like Towson University had a cybersecurity class that they were offering online in summer, like a simplified version of it. And I was like, that sounds cool. So I decided like, yeah, I'm gonna do this summer. So it's always just these small things here and there. Bedrock edition. Okay, I like Java edition just because like when Java, like Minecraft Java was the first thing released and Bedrock was really just Minecraft Pocket edition. And yeah, so I was a PC player. I wasn't on the phone or on PlayStation, but I did watch a lot of Stampy, and he played in Bedrock. So I respect the Bedrock grind.
I think nurture wise, like since I started so late, or like I started in senior year of high school, I did not really do anything outside of school because I was like graduating and I was so checked out of school that I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna have fun and not do anything that requires my brain. But there's a lot of opportunities in college if you do end up studying CS, or if you don't study CS, there's like a lot of clubs that are like project based. So just like joining those clubs and having a project to do from those clubs has helped a lot with like nurturing outside of school. I would say I picked up most of my skills through school though, because in order to do those projects, you have to know something first. So yeah, I think mostly I like learned stuff in school, and then gradually, maybe like starting last year and then this year, I started to make my own projects, like Steph said, where you just like make a little bot or something, or like you make a little website or something, and then you kind of just pick up stuff that way.
Awesome. Thank you for that info. Okay, next question. What is the fun part of pursuing computer science in college?
So again, that's a very like weird question to think about because it's kind of hard to separate about like what's fun about computer science in college itself versus what's fun about college. I guess perhaps one of the most fun things is that a lot of these professors that we're learning from, some of them are like a little boring to listen to, that's true, but a lot of them, they're like at the top of their fields. They really know what's going on, so they can make the class fun. Like I'm taking a class right now. It doesn't sound like a lot of fun. It's discrete math and probability theory. It doesn't sound like it would be fun, but I have this amazing lecturer, Babak, who just makes the class so much fun. And it's actually my favorite CS class because of him. So I guess kind of the teachers, the fact that like we go to Berkeley, which is very good for computer science. So there's a lot of resources for us. Like if we need help, there's a lot of other kids we can ask for help. And I guess being in an environment where like other people are also interested in what you're interested in my high school and in my community, there weren't a lot of kids that were into CS. But like for awe, we have so many members and we do fun things together. And sometimes they're computer science related, but sometimes they're not. So I think that's my favorite part about CS in college. But yeah.
Yeah, and then I think to add on to that, speaking from like a research perspective, obviously for most people, like when they think of CS, they don't think of research. They're like, oh, research is like lab work or like bio work. But if you go to like, if you pursue computer science in college, you have even more opportunities for research. So if you are interested in, for example, like artificial intelligence or like machine learning, like Steph said, you get more opportunities to do that because you have these super top-notch professors who want people to work with them. And I don't think you get that like outside, or maybe you do, but it's like very clear in college that like these professors want students to work with them to like develop new stuff. So I think chance for research is a lot higher when you're in college. And then also like Steph said, bouncing ideas off of other students is usually a lot more productive than when you're just like talking to yourself like, oh, I can make this, that'll work maybe. But like if you talk to someone else and you're like, what do you think about this? And they're like, we can do this too. And then it's like a lot easier to come up with a better product in the end. So the environment, I think, is the key part. Not so much the knowledge, because like knowledge you could pick up anywhere. There's like a bunch of websites. They're all probably, a lot of them are free. So you can pick up skills, but you can't pick up people to talk to through that as easily. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, next question. What is your favorite CS class or project so far? I know, Stephanie, you talked a little bit about this, but yeah, go.
Yeah. So whoops. Yeah, so my favorite class is CS70, which is discrete math and probability theory. My favorite project though, I think will have to be a project I did last semester for a different computer science class, and it's build your own world. And it's just as it sounds. It's like you make your own small video game. And I had a lot of fun with it because you can really customize it. And what was actually really cool is then I recycled that code for that project. I added some components, some features, and then I used it as a final project for a different class of mine. Work smarter, not harder. Okay. It was very fun, and actually the class I used it for, it wasn't even a tech class. It was a history class, but I told a story with my code, and I think that is maybe my favorite project. I also want to say, like Jennifer said, like research is like really cool. I have a friend who's working on like basically Google Maps, but for disability routes, like people who need like wheelchair accessible routes. Like he is making this happen on a website so that people have access to it. But research is also available before college. It's harder to get, and you have to kind of look for it more. Because in Berkeley, it feels like all these opportunities are getting shoved in your lap. But I did research in high school, and I definitely agree research is so much fun. So yeah, just wanted to add that.
I think my favorite class so far is probably computer security, which is the class I'm currently in. It teaches like, honestly, it teaches too much stuff for one semester. Like they teach way too many things that you can't really keep up. But like I said, I was really interested in how the internet worked. So they teach us how the internet works. They teach us how you can like hack into people's stuff. And like the projects that we do are kind of like you hacking into their little built-in system. But in terms of like favorite project or coolest project, it's probably from another class, which is like the AI class, so the artificial intelligence class. We're basically building Pac-Man, but then we're building it so that we like program the game to like run by itself. So we're like programming it so that the Pac-Man will like win on its own and we don't have to control it, which is like the point of AI. So we like keep adding on to it for each project. I think we have 6 in total. And then like you keep adding features to and then at the end, I think it's supposed to be like very cool. I don't know. I haven't made it to the end of the class yet. So at the end of the class, it's supposed to be a very cool Pac-Man thing where like your Pac-Man just beats all the ghosts at some point. So yeah, I think that's favorite project so far. But the class is a security one because I like the internet.
That's super cool. Awesome. Okay. Alice, just a time check. Do we have 3 minutes left? Yeah. Okay. Okay, perfect. Next question. What are the challenges you face at school and how do you overcome them?
Yeah, so for me, there are a few challenges, definitely. I think probably the biggest one is like time management. It's very weird because my first year of college was completely online and now we're in person again. And you have to factor in things like walking to class, getting from point A to point B. And not only that, but you're also in an environment with a lot of freedom. So you have to be like, okay, no, I can't get lunch with my friends now. I actually have to sit down in the library and get things done. But there are more challenges than that. One of them is kind of like particular to being like a woman in STEM, and that's sometimes like you'll go into a discussion group and you're the only girl there. I had that happen my very first day this semester. I didn't like it at all. So I made my friend who's in the same class as me come with me to my discussions just so I had somebody to sit with. I also changed into a different discussion time and I found there was another girl there, woo, and I made friends. So it's those things that are kind of challenging. And also I'm from a small town, so our school was pretty small, but Berkeley is very big, and this might be Berkeley specific. Because it has so many students, you kind of have to be the one that says, okay, I'm interested in this. So I have to look up what classes have this or what professors teach this very well. And you kind of have to be like, this is something I want, so this is something I'm going to pursue. And that can be challenging, especially when you're tired and you work a lot and you want to have fun. So sometimes you just have to say, I'm going to prioritize this. And then in like an hour or two, I can have dinner with my friends. So.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's very true. Yeah, Jennifer.
I actually didn't have much to add. I think time management is still something I'm trying to figure out. And then the women in STEM thing, I kind of also feel. Steph had her first class online, but then when I had my first class, I was in person because I'm 1 year older than her. And there's 2,000 people in the intro to CS class at Berkeley. We did not fit in the classroom that was supposed to be like booked for us. And I think like my first day, because there's so many people, I didn't really know any girls in that class and I felt very out of place. So yeah, that's definitely been something that we're still trying to like handle, I guess. I'm still trying to get used to, just because like I thought there would be more than one girl discussion if I went, but there's usually not, especially when you get to more advanced classes and like people start spreading out to different things, right? Like if you're interested in this class, you'll go to this class, but you won't take another class like specifically with your friend. So it's a lot of just like stepping out of your comfort zone, especially since like Steph said, Berkeley is really big. It's a lot of just like going for it, kind of like trying stuff, and then if you fail, you fail. So it's okay. You just gotta learn to like, kind of like deal with that. So yeah, I would just plus one everything Steph said. I don't think I have anything to add.
Yeah, no, thank you for that advice. That's very much true. And I think that'll also be very helpful for a lot of the seniors and high school students specifically who are applying to college too at this time. Okay, so there are a couple more questions, but because of time, I'm just going to ask one more. This one is, can you give some advice to students interested in computer science?
Yeah, so for the people that are interested in PS, like knowing that you are interested right now, that's like the biggest step. Because I think a lot of times people don't realize that computer science is even an option until they hit senior year of college or something. So the fact that like this club like CEng like exists is amazing. Really, you just like go out and you find things. You go out and you do it. Like if you're interested in computer science, you can try to find a club for like people that are also interested in computer science, or you can take a class if there's one being offered. Or if none of that is happening and you kind of are in a place where there aren't a lot of opportunities for you to like find your passion in computer science, a really important thing to know is that you can do a lot of these things yourself. You just have to like actually sit down and take the time. So like portion, I don't know, 1 or 2 hours a week where you're like, okay, I'm going to watch this tutorial on how to type like Python things into the laptop and make things happen. And then like, boom, at the end of the semester, you know so much. So I think the biggest advice is like really stick with it if you are interested, but also like don't force yourself to like it, because if computer science is something that you enjoy, I think that's the best path. But if it starts to like really like bother you, or if you start to hate it, or if you don't enjoy it anymore after some time having like done it, take a break, come back to it later maybe, because like it's only going to get harder. Like the classes that we're taking, they're a lot of fun, but they are very difficult, and if you like don't enjoy it, it's not going to be a very good experience. So you are allowed to give yourself a break, but if you want to pursue things, you have to recognize that it is going to take a little bit of work, but it will be worth it for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. I think like CS is one of the main domains that you can just like learn while doing stuff. Like for a lot of stuff, you have to study it, right? Like actively go in and study stuff, you know, like history, or like to write, you have to like, or for like English, you have to study books or whatever. But for CS, you kind of just do stuff, and then it somehow works because you pick up like skills while doing it. So honestly, just like make a bunch of stuff, and then like, you know, make a bot, make a project, see what happens when like you put stuff into the terminal. Just like actively do things, and you'll see, or you'll pick up stuff like without you even realizing it. Don't like put yourself into a box of like, oh, I can only learn well in a class, because that's definitely not true. You can learn basically through like Googling stuff, especially for CS. And then I think another thing is that like stuff takes time to work. So if like code is not working, I'm sure you guys learned through this class, but if code is not working, just like go to sleep or something, like let it sit in your brain for a bit, and then when you come back more refreshed, it'll work out. So yeah, just like it takes time, it also takes patience, but I think the reward is very like nice at the end.
Yeah, and if I can also add to that, try to connect it to something that you love. Like the chat was popping off. A lot of people love Minecraft. I love Minecraft too. Try making a mod pack, you know, like start small and connect it to things you like. Like CS is very versatile. Like you can make it so many different things. So maybe if this one class isn't exactly your taste, try to use like the skills, or try to find things and skills that you can use to make computer science something that you enjoy, like the mod pack. I think that's really cool. I kind of want to see what you guys can do with that.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for your advice, for answering all the questions. Yeah, thank you guys. I think that was very helpful, even for the teachers. So yeah, I think we'll end it there. Thank you, speakers.